Welcome to the Lipstick Living channel. This is my 2022 bullet journal setup video. Please like it if you enjoy it and subscribe to my channel. You can also find me on Instagram at the Lipstick Living. My name is Rachel and I make lifestyle videos and also bullet journal videos. So I am making a little flip out booklet for my first page. It's actually going to go on the very front of my bullet journal, so it's not really on a piece of paper, but I just wanted to have a flip out booklet at the beginning of my key and the grid spacing so that I could know how many bullets there are horizontally and vertically. It just makes setting up things a lot easier. So I haven't really used them before, but I definitely will now because I moved into a B5 size. And this is an Archer and Olive bullet journal that I'm using today. I have used their journals in the past. I think I've used 2 or 3 of them before, but they were all the A5 size. So this one is a lot larger, so the spacing is a lot different. So that's why I decided to make this little flip out booklet. And I decided to name my bullet journal Sage because it's this like pretty green color. It's not really the color of sage, but it kind of reminded me of it, and it has a little floral picture on the front, like this little floral doodle of leaves. So I am just making this little booklet, and I am using the Archer and Olive acrylograph pen here. I can't remember the name of the shade, but I will link all the supplies that I use below in my video. And it took me a while to get used to it. It's almost like a paint pen in a way. You have to shake it, and in order for it to come out, you have to shake it, but then the ballpoint, you press down on the page a few times and then the ink will kind of shoot out. So it's very weird. It definitely takes some getting used to. So I would recommend, if you are going to use those, practice with it on another sheet of paper before you actually go in with whatever project you're doing. So I just took a glue stick and glued that in so that I can flip that out when I'm flipping pages. And now I'm moving on to my main page, and I chose to do this kind of eucalyptus greenery theme. I didn't want to do anything over the top. I wanted to keep it very minimalistic, very simple, so I just went with this nice greenery, and I used only a few of the Tombow brush pens. I think I only used 2 different colors, and then I used that acrylograph pen and a Crayola super tip. So I didn't really use mini markers for this setup, which is nice. But I decided to go with a wreath and just put Welcome 2022 in the middle of it. So I just outlined it in this gray color, and then I put some little sprigs in this dark green color around the wreath, and then I just fill it in with the like mint color brush pen from Tombow, and then I go in with that acrylograph pen, which is also like a mint green color. And there's not really a rhyme or a reason why how I'm drawing these petals. It's kind of just, I kind of just drew them however I felt, and it's not very symmetrical. I just kind of was not really caring at the moment. I just wanted to get it done. I'm a little behind on things, so I didn't really care if it was like the best drawings that I've ever done. I just wanted to keep it very simple, so I kind of just made just random little petals, and I think in the end it turned out okay. I definitely could have added some here and there just to make the wreath a little fuller, so you definitely could in your own, but I think for me this was fine. I just wanted a nice simplistic look to it, so because I'm probably not going to be looking at this page that much, but I do on the left side, I do a quote for the year, and my one little word for 2022 is joy. So I picked a quote that had joy in the quote. So I just write that out to the left, and it says, "The joy we feel has little to do with the circumstances of our lives and everything to do with the focus of our lives." So I thought that was a pretty good quote to go by for the year. Okay, so now I'm moving on to my future log, and I was able to fit all the months on this one because the B5 is a lot bigger. So I made 6 little boxes on each side of the paper, and I put each month in each box. And I decided to keep this pretty simple as well. I just outlined it in this gray Tombow brush pen. And then I used that acrylograph marker from Archer and Olive to write the first letter of the month over top of the month that I write out in cursive. And I think it turns out okay. The acrylograph pen was giving me some trouble. I haven't really gotten used to it yet. So some of the letters, it kind of, the ink kind of came out in blotches, and so it doesn't look as clean as I wanted it to, but for the most part I think it turned out okay. now I'm moving on to my next page, and I decided to do goals at a glance. So I'm just going to write out my major goals for the year and have the goals at a glance page in my bullet journal, as well as I also have it in my Power Sheets. That is the goal planner that I use, but I thought it would be beneficial to have it in my bullet journal as well, because I look at my bullet journal pretty much every day, and I use my Power Sheets pretty much every day as well, but I'm not really flipping through it as often as I am my bullet journal. I kind of just keep my Power Sheets on the tending list page and don't really mess with it until I'm setting up for the next month. So my bullet journal I actually flip through each day, since I use it as my daily planner. And then on the right side, I split up my goals, and I did a quarterly goal page so that I can write out the major goals I want to focus on each quarter. And then my next page is when I last. So I wanted to have a page where I could write down the last time that I gave the dogs their medicine, because I think one of their pills that they take for heartworm is monthly or quarterly, and then the other pill they take for flea and tick is either monthly or quarterly, and I can't ever remember which is what and when I gave it to them. And then also for things like changing out my contacts, I'm supposed to do that every month. Changing out our water filter, that's supposed to be done every quarter. And so I kind of forget when the last time I did that, since it's, some of them are 90 days in between. So I decided to make a page dedicated to when I do things so that I don't forget. I can flip back and say, oh, okay, it's time to change this or do that. And then on the right side, I did a spread for things to check out. So that's what I'm working on right now. And I split this up into 4 different categories. So the first one is music and podcast, and then movies/TV, books, and then stationery. And I have this page because a lot of times I'll hear recommendations for things and I don't have time in the moment to look into them or research it to see if I want to watch it or buy something or whatever. And so it's nice to have a page where I can just turn to and jot it down really quickly. And then when I do have time, I can go back and look into things. Okay, so the last setup is for the books that I've read throughout the year. So I did a very simple spread. Last year I did a more complicated one, and I had like a little block for each book, and it took a long time, and I am planning on reading a lot more this year. So I just did a simple grid setup where I can write down the title of the book, the author, and then the rating that I give it. And I might give more in-depth reviews on my Goodreads. I'm wanting to keep that updated more this year because I haven't really updated it since 2020. So I want to keep that updated, and if I do, and if I'm good with it, I'll link it so that you can follow me, because I do like to give reviews. I just have run out of time to add that to my plate after I finish a book, but I do want to do that. So I just put at the top 2022 in that acrylograph pen, and then put some like sprigs of eucalyptus and leaves around it, and then books I've read on the right. And I think there's enough for 36 spaces. So I don't think I'll be able to read more than that with a full-time job and also all my a million hobbies that I do. So I think this will be enough space. But if not, I can always make a future spread of this again halfway through the year. Okay, so this is my final flip through of my 2022 bullet journal setup. It is very simple. There's not many pages in this, and I wanted it to be that way because a lot of times I make these in-depth setups and then I never use them. So I wanted to make sure that this would be user-friendly for me to go back to throughout the year. So hopefully you enjoy this video. If you do, please like it and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.